It's good to have you back on. I mean, there's so much talk about inflation. And by the way, stay tuned. The RBI is about inflation coming up and how it may get worse before it gets better. But the markets and investors don't seem to care at all. Why not?
Well, it's interesting. I think the newest numbers that have come out as far as jobs data is concerned, and then you pair that with the fact that we've gotten these new treatments from Merck and Pfizer that have been announced and could actually be in the marketplace, early next year, has brought with it like a whole new renewed sense of optimism for investors that really seems like a different type of optimism than what folks have had the last few months. For sure.
Yeah, I saw Malcolm a stat yesterday, and please don't quote me on this. It's early and my numbers are a little off, but you get the directional nature of it. Is the flows into the QQQ, the NASDAQ, basically 100 ETF, were up like 70% from a month earlier. Now, bottom line is people are buying stocks. They're buying crypto. It's aggressive on the technology side. Is there anything you see that might slow that down?
Well, we've actually been encouraging clients to diversify away from that mega cap trade that got us here, right? We've been riding this wave for a very long time, but what we're really noticing is underneath the surface, there's a lot of stocks that haven't really gotten as much love all the way through the pandemic and basically through Q3 that are starting to break out in those same indexes you mentioned. And that kind of means that same mega cap, FAANG trade that we've been so reliant on isn't quite the one that isn't likely to be the one that leads us, over the next year or so the way it has before. And we've really been encouraging clients to, sort of think a little bit differently, not be so afraid to step away from the herd, because I really am concerned that, it's kind of like that old adage from the 90s where nobody ever got fired for buying IBM, right? If you're a fund manager the last 5 years, nobody's ever gotten fired for buying FANG stocks. But I think that could be changing, and I want to make sure that our clients and anybody watching this understands that, like, just what got you here won't necessarily get you there.
That is well said. And by the way, we showed our graphic of the FANG stocks, but Facebook changed its name, so I think we're going to have to change it to MANG because now it's Meta, not Facebook. Malcolm, you're thinking differently. There we go, the MANG stocks. I'm coining it right now. You are thinking outside the box, and you believe, we're talking about the Rivian IPO, by the way, backed by Ford and Amazon, but you think GM, General Motors, is a good buy here. How come?
Yeah, I think if the likes of Tesla in their early days have taught us anything, it's that infrastructure really matters. And I don't mean that coming off the back of this Biden bill as a pun. I mean, literally the infrastructure to be able to build these cars consistently and deliver numbers on target. People seem to have forgotten, short memories here, just how many stumbles Tesla had with cars falling apart and being back in the shops and those sorts of things in their earlier days. And I don't see that as going away, right? It's really tough to manufacture cars at scale and consistently put out the numbers, the output numbers that you promise. And GM seems very well poised to be able to do that. They have the infrastructure. They've been doing this forever. But then also you couple that with the fact that the thing that's really sapped EV adoption in this country has been people's concern that if I go and drive too far as I go to visit my relatives for the holidays coming up, I won't be able to, quote unquote, fill up on the way, right? And so with the new infrastructure bill having about $7 billion in it, slated for building out charging stations in a nationwide network, it just seems like that one obstacle to EV adoption has now been taken off the table or will be taken off the table. And that's going to be to the benefit of a company like a GM that's got such a wide product set.